Hi Tubies, here's Alexandra again, and welcome to another painting tutorial. Today we painted Grimdark Ultramarine, and what I have done here is I have my nice little Ultramarines Reiver here, and I have primed it in black. And the colors we are using today are scale color. Here we have Canterbury Blue, then Ariana Hood Blue, Sky Blue, and then a very bright blue. I call this Cloud Blue. This is just white with a tiny little bit of blue in it. Yeah. Then we need a makeup brush. The fluffier the better. And well, let's dive right into it. So we take first our Canterbury Blue, a little bit on the palette, wipe most of the excess off, and then we make a general overbrush over the miniature. Just like that. See, we want the main parts to be blue, but also keep the recesses and the shadows in black. Very easy process. Grab a little bit more. And yeah, this is it. Okay, the miniature is mainly blue now with a good amount of black in the recesses still. So then we take our second blue tone. If you use GW colors, an ultramarine blue would be nice for that. And we make a roughly 50-50 mix out of the Canterbury Blue and this now. Wipe away the excess. And now we start stippling from above. Our goal is now to only face the upper portions of the miniature. So our brush is always in a 90-degree angle towards the miniature. We only want to hit the upper portions that is actually hit by light. We are basically simulating an airbrush with this method. Okay. This is step one. You see that I have already here transition from black to dark blue to this now brighter blue. So now we take this pure brighter blue and again from the top. Gently stippling. Okay. Now we mix in a little bit of the sky blue. Be careful with brighter colors like that. It only takes a very tiny amount of the bright color to affect the other color. So put them side by side on the palette and then mix them together until you're satisfied, and I guess already this amount is good. Yeah, here already on the paper you can see the difference. And now very gently only the top parts. Keep in mind when the color is dry it darkens a little bit, so wet colors are always a little bit brighter than their dried up stage. You see, there can be a little bit more here on the top part of the shoulder pad. Yeah, just like that. Now we mix in a little bit more of the blue, of the sky blue. We're almost at the pure sky blue. Very gently. Only the absolute highest points. And I guess we are done with that. Okay, I'll let that dry and be right back. So we are back, and now it's time to give him some battle damage. For that I'll take some of the very light blue on my palette. Just like that. And then I will use my trusty stippling tool here that I've invented, and this is just some sponge. Dip the sponge into the blue and wipe off most of the excess on a paper towel. You can test the amount on your nails, for example, and then you can start stippling very lightly, very gently on the armor parts, some here and there, where you think that the most wear and tear of the armor would be. For example, here at the knees, especially at the legs. So let's go around them. Some on the shoulder pad, of course, on the helmet, and the backpack. A little bit on their hands. And there we go. So now it looks like he is splattered with paint, and maybe a spray can or something exploded next to him, but that's totally okay. So washing off the sponge for reuse later. So with this in mind, we take now a small brush and take some black paint. The matter the black the better, so that the black really shows. And then we pick out those spots here. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can really see what I'm doing. So you see here those splotches, and we simply make a tiny dot of black right there. See? So that the white speckles are actually highlights of real scratches. Just like that. Also here, we have here a big splotch. Can go like that. And the sharper the tip of your brush is, the better. For example, this tip is not very good. It has some years of use behind it, so let's take a brush with a fresh and very sharp tip, like this one here. You see, brushes tend to lose the very tip with mechanical stress. So if you dry brush with your brush, or make heavy over brushes, or general, well, even the washing part of a brush gives the brush physical strength, and over time the very tip of the brush will simply break off, and this is how brushes lose their tip. So this is very delicate work, but it shouldn't be that long. You don't need to hit every little white speckle you find, just the bigger ones. And place a black dot below them, so that the white speckles actually are just like highlights to a scratch that is on the surface. Oh, sorry for being out of focus there for a moment. So for example, this here, we will go from the top and there a little bit. Now the light shine is too harsh from this side, so let's move it to the other. So, I hope you get the point, and well, I will finish that up with a battle damage here, and be right back in a moment. Okay, now that the armor's battle damage here is done, we are now at the stage where all the details are painted in. So I will now, in the next stage, block out the colors of the leather. I will paint in brown, then all the metallic parts I will paint. I will paint here the skull part in a beige tone. Yeah, and here there's straps in black. Also the belt around his waist in black. Then this cable here in silver. Also the weapon in silver. So basically the normal details I will paint now off camera. Here this little skull and daggers symbol I will paint in gold, and generally prepare the miniature for the next stages of the highlighting process. Yeah, be right back. Ta-da! We are back, and as you can see, I have painted all the detail areas now. Here all the pouches and stuff in brown. Silver parts are done. This little bit here in the middle in gray. Then bleach bone here on the face. Silver parts on the gun. All the little parts between the armor are silver, or you could make them in gray, however you like. I prefer them in silver. And well, now it's time to throw on some shade, and for that I take the trusty old Nuln Oil. So, and we will simply give those pouches here a little bit of shadow. Also here the middle section. And all the silver parts. Very quick process. Also the weapon. Here the little vents, that was a little bit much. Yeah, that's about the right amount. The rest of the pouches. This bit and that bit. So, still some pouches left. Yeah, the trumpet in the background is my Stream Raiders that is humping here directly into my filming. Sorry for that. So, and here for the blade I will go for a true metallic metal version. In that case I will simply make a transition here from bright metal to dark metal, just with a little bit of shade. We will increase that later. And there again, the trumpet of Stream Raiders. Sorry for that. And Stream Raiders is continuing to annoy me. So, now we switch the shade. To Agrak's Earth Shade. And we will quickly paint the bone part here on his faceplate. And also here the gold needs a little bit of that shade. Same goes for this gold here. And we're done. So, this needs to dry now, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, here we go. It's time for some strategic highlighting. If you want to follow the GW method of edge highlighting, you can go ahead and edge highlight every single edge of the miniature, but I prefer to well, go a little bit more selective with my approach. This time we will mix 50-50 of our sky blue with the cloud blue and make a nice bright blue color, and we will tackle some of the edges, like here for example at the headpiece, and we use the side of the brush very gently, barely touching, to make this nice edge highlighting. Also here on the shoulder pad. I normally don't do all the way around, almost only the edge here at the front and here at the back a little bit. Because if you look in real life, not every single edge of a shiny object is edge highlighted. Only a few appear. So also here the collar can need an edge highlight on the outside and the inside trim. gently, just like that. Then here at the boots, this edge, here at the hand, I go normally like that. Same on the other. Then again the other shoulder pad. Like you see, you can always adjust the direction of the miniature. Ah, dang. There I wasn't fast enough, so I will quickly grab some of the dark paint and correct that little mistake there. Ta-da! It's corrected. So, that's about it, what I would do on edge highlighting. If you prefer more edge highlighting, then knock yourself out and do that. So, now for the leather parts, I will quickly grab some of my dark brown, and I will start with some highlighting here, very gently, like that, on the upper surfaces, all around. And there we go. Now we drop a little bit of a beige into the color to make it slightly brighter, not by much. Go for more of the lower parts. Now even more of the beige. So, now even more of the beige, and with that color we will now make some tiny little edge highlights on the pouches, just on the edges. Also just some strategic highlighting. I'm not edge highlighting every single pouch and every single edge, only the lower ones. Here maybe the edge of the scabbard. That's the leather parts already done. Now we take our previous bone color again and make some nice little highlights to here, the bone mask. Just a tiny bit here and there. And that should be enough. Then add a little bit of white into the bone color for some final highlights here. Gently touching. There you go. And the miniature is done. The final things to do is, well, place a decal here on the shoulder, a normal ultramarine decal. I will highly recommend you use here microsol to soften the decal, or you use decal softener and decal fix here from Vallejo, whatever you prefer. And well, you can make the base however you like, with some white glue and sand, and then paint it, or maybe use some pre-created texture paste like this here from Vallejo, thick mud. Yeah, and that's basically it. Oh, I forgot to paint the eyes. Sorry about that. Let's quickly do that. Yeah, we need a dark red for that, then a bright red, and we need a tiny brush with a good tip. So, with a dark red, we first paint the back part of the eye. Just like that. Then with a bright red, we paint the front part of the eye. Ta-da! Sorry, I was out of focus. And then we take some white for a tiny dot in the back of the eye. There we go. And the eye is done. So, I will finish up now the marine with a decal and make the space, and show you the end result. Be right back. And here we have now the finished marine after 2 rounds of decal softener and then followed by a matte varnish. The decal is now really nice. The floor texture is, like I said here, this Vallejo thick mud. And, well, I also painted here the purity seal really quickly. Yeah, and that is now our finished ultramarine. I hope you liked this tutorial, and we see us in the next video. And don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. Ring the bell to never miss a video of mine, and until the next time, you're Alexandra.